What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be going over where you guys can get all of the double resources during this event and just in general for the future if you're watching this after the Explorers event or after any double XP event ends, where you can go to get tons of resources fast. Now I have to warn you, we may see some things in this video that may disturb you. We may see bots. But we're going to talk specifically too about today some areas that don't have as many bots, because if you play on console, it's like fighting in the Clone Wars and you're a noble clone trooper who's being overwhelmed by separatist droids. So unfortunately, if you go to certain areas, that's what it's going to be like, and you're not going to be able to profit not nearly as much. I have also put the home invasion intros on pause because, hey, can you tell where we are? This is where we're going to be starting our little video today, so kudos to you if you recognize where I am, as this is one of the best spots that you can go to. So before we jump into the video, a quick reminder that if you would like to be entered into the giveaway, all you have to do is leave as many comments as you want. Each comment is a giveaway entry for 1 month at ESO Plus. The second one is to a random subscriber that I pull every month. So that drawing is the first of every month at midnight. And let's jump into the video. So, do you recognize where we are? It's Cold Harbor. It's we're in Molag Bal's realm. We are in the ass crack all the way. Actually, we're not even in Tamriel. We are over in a plane of oblivion. Isn't that scary? Because this is the #1 place to go for alchemy ingredients. You're not really going to be finding other types of ingredients here. So this is going to be an area where you go and get your specific actual just alchemy ingredients. As we go through the different methods and things, you'll hear me talk about like what you can find here. And it actually looks like there is an individual running this to get stuff, so I'm not gonna go through specifically. I won't pick up stuff so that way they can still, kind of profit from this area. But basically, you just want to run around and go up and down the stairs and do a loop around the city. I don't usually go outside of the city. There are about 2 or 3 Columbine spawns just outside of the gates here that you can sometimes snag. Columbine being one of the better ingredients that you can kind of see sometimes. It's usually potentially around this corner, but usually you could just stay inside the city and then you'll be a-okay on getting yourself some good old alchemy ingredients. This is an area that is locked. You do have to teleport here. You can teleport here without having any sort of special DLCs or anything. The easiest way to do so is to just go into the guild tab, look for people in Cold Harbor, and then you're able to teleport to them, as you will need to have a character that's teleported here to get here. But that's why this is one of the best spots without any sort of bots, and we don't want to have to see any of those dirty rapscallions in our good old Minecraft videos. Next up, we are in Northern Elsewhere. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Jake, nobody really recommends Northern Elsewhere. Why in the world are you in Northern Elsewhere? And that is because it is a great place to go, because it is not over-farmed. I will say, though, that you probably will need the perks to see them in the ground or the add-on. As you can see, these things are very, very hard to spot when they are not being lit up by a yellow light. But basically, the route is actually this line here, and then you get to this way shrine, and then you teleport back. You can see there's all sorts of goodies on the way there, and because this is a DLC zone, you're not going to be having to fight with any sort of bots or anything. This is a pretty free, bot clanker free zone. You won't have to worry about being ambushed by people with crazy gamer tags that look like somebody dropped a keyboard. So that's why this method is on the list. This is a great place for you to go. And if you guys have any thoughts on this zone, let me know in the comments below. And as a quick little addendum to this, because you guys might be wondering this, will I be talking about more efficient ways to farm these types of materials? And the answer is yes. I'll be talking about some quick sets at the end that will make you super fast, which makes it better. So we'll talk about that at the end, though. Welcome to Craglorn, one of the most popular areas to grind, and one that isn't as filled with bots because there's a whole bunch of shit that wants to kill you. Why Craglorn, you might be wondering? Is it as a base game zone and the bots are getting murdered here? Why is this a zone that we want to farm in? And that is simply because of potent and fortified Nern Cruxes. This is my favorite route up here. It is actually this loop of world bosses. You obviously don't have to fight the world bosses, but because it's a loop, you're able to get, a bunch of goodies, and you can kind of help follow along the roads and these mountainsides, and you can see the resources will pop in. So you can hug the mountains, circle around the mountains, and then back on down. You can go in as far as you want, but this is the overall, most popular area, I believe, in Craglorn. There are people that utilize this lake over here also. That's not a bad area, but I don't like areas that are small and contained. And as far as like areas go, the surface area that you get in this route versus this lake over here just pales in comparison, in my opinion. But this is the more popular Nern Crux, farming route. There's also not as many ads here as you can see. There are people here, and there's a strong likelihood that this area is being farmed currently right now. But if you wanted to get the odds of you being able to get those resources, materials, this would definitely be the area and the route that I would take if I were you. And we are now in Artaeum. Now, another reason why I love Artaeum is because it is, again, a DLC zone. I'll talk after this one about my only base game zone that I would recommend, with maybe some potential alternatives. But look how peaceful this is. There's not people running around with crazy droid names. It's nice and peaceful here. It's a beautiful zone. There's not even a single aggressive mob in this whole zone. You can literally run around Artaeum freely, and there's a decent chunk of farming materials. Now, we are looking at this during double harvesting, so there's a good chance that a lot of them have been picked up, as there are tons of people here currently. But we will yoink that Sidgwick portal. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people here farming currently, but especially when it's not during those double events, you're able to get a whole bunch of really good materials here. So I'm a huge fan of Artaeum. It's actually probably my go-to when I need stuff specific, not for alchemy ingredients. But overall, it's another really great place to go. And the next we'll be going over one of the dirty, battlegrounds of the bots, where you will have to fight for them, and then two final alternatives, and then we'll just talk super briefly about, ways that you can make efficient, farming for yourself. Welcome, everyone, to Betnik, or should I call it the Separatist homeworld. You will find more bots on Betnik than any other area in the map, in my legal opinion. It is one of the strongest, most commonly farmed places in the entire Elder Scrolls Online. You will find tons of people here, unfortunately, but I want to show you guys the route just super briefly. You can see that we're passing over a bunch of material. My go-to route is actually this loop right here in Betnik. Other people may recommend things like the coastlines. However, these wolves and such give a little bit. Oh, you've spotted one. Look at him. EG11555. If I have ever seen a bot name before, this is one of them. Look at him. Ah, he beat me to it. As you can see, bot central. He even knows that there's going to be an extra spawn here to tap A again. They've learned. They've over-adapted and they've overcame their human overlords. And the AI is learning. But overall, Betnik, this loop right here, is my favorite loop to go to whenever I want to fight these little rapscallions. As two quick honorable mentions, I will say Kyne's Roost, this loop right here on the beach, is really popular and I think is also pretty decent also. And then Balforen, which the good thing about Balforen is you can literally pretty much walk to it from Stone Falls, which you will have the ability to just... You look across this road, you get this way shrine on every character, you just walk on over, meander if you will, and then you're able to get yourself into Balforen with the most populated resource area, this, and then kind of over in the field, but only about as high as this building here. And two quick mentions, and that is Coward's Gear, which could give you major expedition while sprinting, Jailbreaker, which gives you minor expedition, and the Ring of the Wild Hunt, which are all really good items that I want you guys to consider when it comes to farming any sort of materials, because overall, being fast is just helpful, if I'm speaking honestly. There are champion points too that also speed up the actual actions as well. However, I don't find those as helpful. just because of it's more so about getting to the resources that I think is more helpful. So if you have time, Ring of the Wild Hunt is definitely the go-to. You want that bad boy right away. And then if you have the ability to buy a cheap set, Coward's Gear is really good. And if you want to farm an easy dungeon, to just hit him with the old razzle-dazzle 1-2 combo and combine it all together, you're able to also get the Jailbreaker set. So that's going to wrap up my thoughts on this video. If you guys want a more risque video, perhaps on like the #1 area to farm resources inside of Cyrodiil, the reason that I didn't include any of the more like risque places is just because the places here are already pretty goated. As you can see, we're in Betnik, bot central, surrounded by droids, and we're still getting pretty hefty amounts of resources. So I don't really feel the need to go to those like really wacky places, especially if you really want to avoid the bots. You could just go to a DLC zone, and those people who bought and to trade for USD. Oh, is this bot being attacked? This bot's under attack. Oh God, he's being protected by his familiar. Well, now we know how they live. It's how they avoid death. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as a quick question of the day, if you would be so generous to answer, what other videos could I be producing in the short-term future for you guys? I have a little bit of a miniature list going, but I always want your help to add to that list. So please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. We're ending it with a Columbine. Let's go.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.